Hello and welcome. This is Cheryl. Thank you so much for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to create an interactive spaghetti and meatballs card. This pasta set, we have the pasta friends as well as the ingredient buddy sets. They came out in the fall as well as this Stay Saucy stamp set. And I just thought it would be fun to create an interactive card with them where we have a stack or a plate of spaghetti with some meatballs on it and one of the meatballs rolls off spinning. So I have a bunch of pieces here that I have already die cut. The base for my spaghetti are die cut out of some Beeswax Cardstock. The upper layers are done with some Alabaster Cardstock. Now I'm doing a little bit of ink blending just to give it a little bit of visual dimension. So on the base, I'm going to be doing some mustard seed on the two sides as well as the bottom. And then on the top layer, I'm using some scattered straw for the outer side. And this can be eliminated. You don't necessarily need to do that, but ink blending does add a little bit of visual dimension to it. I have my meatball pieces that are die cut, but while I wipe that mat off and let that mat dry, I'm going to assemble my spaghetti pieces. I'm going to do one on screen, the rest I'll do off screen because it's exactly the same. I have some pieces that are die cut out of some cranberry cardstock for the eyes and the background. So I just add a little bit of liquid glue to that background and put that piece down. Now I have Barely Art glue here in a fine line bottle, so I can get it on the really fine die cuts as well as the larger ones when we're assembling. The liquid glue gives you that wiggle room to move and shimmy things in place, and it dries really nicely. I don't have anything falling apart with it. I have some meatballs here die cut out of some Acorn Cardstock, and then the sauce part on the top of them is die cut out of some cranberry cardstock. So the meatballs, I'm doing a little bit of ink blending with ground espresso distress ink, and on those on the spaghetti sauce top pieces, I'm doing a little bit of aged mahogany distress ink. So I'm doing large ink blending brushes with all of these because I just want the light ink blending around the outside edges, but you could use smaller ones and you could increase that if you wanted a little bit more of a dramatic look to it. I have some arms and legs for my one meatball that's going to be rolling, die cut out of some Fawn Cardstock. I did a little bit of ink blending on them just with whatever ink was left on that brush that I was using with the ground espresso. And then I assembled my meatballs, and these are really easy to assemble. Those arms and legs really give them a lot of character. Now in the end, I take the legs off when it's spinning down my plate of spaghetti. I just didn't really like the look of the legs spinning around, but you could always leave them on if you liked it. You can see it before I take those legs off, so you can see if it's something that you like. I just thought it was a fun way to create an interactive feature. I only put the legs and the arms on the meatball that's going to spin. The rest of them, I just left that off of it. To create a little bit of a dramatic background here, I have some Raven cardstock. That is trimmed to 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. Now I wanted to create a plate for my spaghetti to sit on. So I'm using the Essential Modern Ovals die set. I'm using whichever size I think looks good with a plate. Now the edges or the ends are a little bit of a squared round rather than looking like a completely circular plate, but this is what I have and it's going to work. It's just to give the look of the spaghetti sitting on something. Now the piece that I'm die cutting here, it's not long enough for all of my spaghetti to sit on, so I taped it to my cardstock here. I cut it about 3/4 of the way, and the easiest way to do that is to not put the end of your plate on the area of that die that you don't want to die cut. Then I slide my die cut down. You can really feel where the blade is in the channels of the previous part that's die cut. I do tend to flip it over to make sure that it's still in that spot. But this is a great way. If you have a die that has straight edges and you want to extend the length of it, this is the easiest way to do it. It's a fun trick to do and just to alter things just a little bit. To add just a bit of visual dimension to that, I'm using some Lost Shadow Distress ink just a little bit around the outside edges. And again, you could use a darker gray like Hickory Smoke if you wanted it to be a little bit more prominent, if you wanted to have a little bit more dimension to it. But I just thought a little bit was going to be perfect for this. I glued that to the base. Now I have 5 little clumps, if you will, of spaghetti. I'm going to glue 3 of them to the bottom, 2 of them right above that to stack, and then I have 3 meatballs that I will be gluing 2 of them down, and then the third one is going to be the one that spins. So I put the 2 ones on the bottom layer of that spaghetti on the outside, and then I centered the inside one in, and then put my 2 upper layers above that. So that is the one that I just had in my hand there that is going to spin. I'm going to glue one in the center of my pile there, one to the right hand side of it. And then I'm going to let that completely dry before I make my channel. Now I have this Like to Move It die set here that has a variety of different sets or different dies that are perfect for creating channels like this. There's one that's just a little curve, and I'm going to be using that 2 times to create kind of a hill and then a bit of a valley for my meatball to follow. But while I'm waiting for those other die cuts to adhere to my card base, I'm going to do my card front. I'm going to work on my card base. So I have my Misty stamping tool here. I chose one of the stamp sets, or the stamps from the set, and I chose the one that said, "You're more than just plain spaghetti." I thought that worked well with or plain pasta. Thought it worked well with the spaghetti and the meatballs. I stamped it on the inside of the card with that ground espresso distress ink. And then on the front of the card, I have a piece of Beeswax Cardstock that I'm going to be using for my mat. This is trimmed to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So we're going to see that yellow around the outside edge of my focal piece for my card. Now I'm going to be using this piece here to die cut that opening. I'm using a little bit of Best Ever Craft tape in order to tape it in place. I'm going to do one side, and I'm doing it outside of those piles of spaghetti, because when you're die cutting through layers of cardstock, the more layers, the harder it is. So I'm trying to do it right outside that pile to make it a little bit easier for that die to go through. Now my first one, it almost all the way went through, but there's one little edge that didn't want to go. So the best way to work with that is to flip my plates over, flip my piece over so the die is blade face up. There's more pressure at the top of the machine. This way it's going to have a little bit more pressure on that die. It makes it a little bit easier to do the rest of that die cutting. Then I moved my die so that it had the little valley piece. So I'm going to create kind of almost a backwards S with this little channel here. This is the easiest way to do it with dies. You could, if you wanted, use an X-Acto knife and cut a channel. The only thing with that is sometimes it's a little bit hard to keep that channel nice and even. This is where dies come in real handy for this. So I'm keeping those pieces that I'm die cutting out. And the reason is when I glue this on top of that Beeswax cardstock, you're going to see that Beeswax cardstock in that channel. And it's not like it looks wrong, but I don't really want that channel to be so prominent. So by gluing these pieces right inside that channel onto my card base, my beeswax cardstock there, I'm going to hide that channel just a little bit. It's going to be a little bit more subtle. It'll be a little bit more of a surprise that that meatball moves or spins in that channel. So I'm using that same Barely Art glue. I did tape the piece onto my card base so it didn't move on me while I was gluing those pieces in place. And I just used that Best Ever Craft tape. It's like almost like Post-it note tape, but it's a little bit stronger than that. It's a great tape for using for taping things together, but you can take it up after you're done with it. And I reuse those pieces of tape regularly till it doesn't stick anymore. So I can probably get like a half a dozen uses out of each of those pieces of tape. So it goes a long way. For my little spinning feature here, I have a Snap and Spin from Pear Blossom Press. These are actually called Snap and Slides right now. The name is going to be changing with the release of a different product. So I am using one of these in the channel. There's 2 different pieces that come and you just snap them together. And then on the back of my card piece here, I'm going to be using some double wide or double thick foam tape. Pear Blossom Press has their own double thick foam tape, but they're out of stock right now. So this was a replacement that I found. I'll put a link to it in the supply list. These come in bigger squares. I just cut them to the size that I need for what I'm doing. And I'm putting those squares all the way, or those pieces all the way around the edge. Then I'm also going to put one in the middle. I want to make sure that that is nice and supported. But as I do it, I also make sure that I'm not going too close to the channel. I don't want to deter or stop that from rolling. So I make sure that it is well away from that spinner there so that it's not going to stop it from spinning in that place. Once I've tested it to make sure that we're good to go, I take the backing off of that tape and then I can glue that right to my card base, making sure to be kind of over top of my card so I can make sure that the channel and the pieces that I've glued to my base match up nicely. Then I have a sticky spot here that I'm going to be using to glue my meatball in onto that piece there. It's just a really large, thin glue dot. Anything that goes off of that snap and spin, I just flip it over and make sure that it's not exposed adhesive. Put my meatball on there, and here it is. And I tested it a few times, and I just didn't like those legs on there. There's nothing, if you like it, there's nothing really wrong with it. I thought they were just a bit too straight. If they were curved, I think I might have been fine with it, but I just didn't like how straight they were. So once I took those legs off, I thought I was done, but it was a little bit, in my opinion, the card was a little bit too heavy on the right side of it because of that spinner, because of that meatball with the movement. So I wanted to put something on the left side of the card. Now, the Pasta Friends die set has a fork in it, so I used some mirror silver cardstock from the Silver Treasure cardstock pack and die cut that. You could also use a matte if you didn't want it to be quite that shiny. Then I just used a die pick to kind of lift up one of my spaghetti pieces or die cuts so that I had space to put that fork right in there, and then glued that to the card base. And I think it just kind of balances out the card just a little bit better. I like the fact that it's nice and reflective and catches the light, and then I love the movement we get from that little meatball on the side, and I think it's just a fun one to do. And that pasta or the Stay Saucy stamp set has so many different options for it, so you could easily pick a different stamp set or a stamp different sentiment for your card. You could even put one at the top of the front of the card. I think that would be great as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate the time that you spend with me. I hope you have a fantastic day.